So we know what Microsoft's Xbox Series X looks like, and now, after last week, we know what Sony's PlayStation 5 looks like. We're starting to learn quite a bit about both, man, from the games to the hardware inside to the services that these things are going to provide. But there are two big things that we still don't know. The main things, the actual release dates and the price of these machines. That has since been a debate, how much are these things gonna cost? With all the talks of fancy new hardware, high-speed SSDs, state-of-the-art graphics, all that stuff, it always comes down to the price at the end of the day. How much can Sony or Xbox cram into these little plastic boxes, and what's the bottom line? It's me, Jake Baldino, and let's talk about this. This is a fun conversation to have for a video. It is really fun to speculate. We do it a lot here, but I do want to stress something that I don't think other YouTubers admit enough. Look, this is armchair quarterbacking, straight up. I am not a financial analyst. I am not what you would call a smart man, but I've been playing with these things and I've been buying these things for many generations now, which I know a lot of you have as well, so let's dive in. The price thing is an interesting predicament for the next consoles because it's like an amped up version of the previous generation. E3, I believe 2013, Microsoft had some issues with messaging behind the Xbox at first. I'm sure you probably remember when they wanted to kind of just sell it as an entertainment box more than an actual game console, and then they announced it for a price point of $499 in US dollars, a bit higher than some folks expected. That left Sony to then follow up basically the next day with their announcements at a price point of $399. It was kind of like a pricing Cold War type thing, two companies at a standoff. Sony execs did go on record saying that they were expecting to be priced lower than Xbox, but they were still holding their breath, and then they breathed a sigh of relief when they saw the official announcement. Now, here in 2020, we have two consoles in the midst of a pandemic. Everything is canceled, there are no big gaming events, and especially no E3 to structure announcements either in or around if they were holding their own events. There has, however, been a big, somewhat disjointed bunch of announcements this summer from all gaming companies, and Sony had their thing, and now Microsoft is saying that they'll show off more of the Series X later this summer. So, price announcements are possibly soon, but you can't help but wonder who's gonna go first. It does feel like a game of corporate chicken. Still, years later, many people forgot who announced what and who had a price of what at what time. It's the big mistakes that are remembered. The PS3 was astronomically priced for the time. And then the Xbox One was kind of launching with a lot of people already mad about it. Like I mentioned, the messaging was kind of wrong. Here, in 2020, not to sound like a neutral pacifist in the stupid console wars that are barely a thing anymore, but consoles are releasing with established fan bases and types of players who have a good idea of what they want. Some players might just really like Xbox exclusives, or all of their friends are on Xbox Live, or maybe they love Game Pass, or maybe they love how it works with PC, while people on the PlayStation and the Sony side, maybe they just really like PlayStation exclusives and their focus on high-end, incredible games. There's not really a console war anymore. There's just the fact that gaming has gotten so big, especially with the rise of PC gaming, that there is just a larger pool of players, and with more players comes more variation of preferences and tastes, which I think is a good thing, dude. But anyway, we were talking about price. I can go off on tangents. There has been quote-unquote leaks going on from random store pages and stuff, possibly releasing stuff early, but I'm not willing to believe any of those just yet. Take it with a grain of salt. Some people have taken a PlayAsia listing as gospel, but I always think placeholders are not the strongest thing. So here's what a couple of people are going on. Back in February, Bloomberg Financial reported that the PlayStation 5 costs roughly $450 to manufacture. Margins on consoles, especially at launch, are often notoriously small, meaning some people would speculate that Sony wouldn't mind eating it or losing out by selling it at $400 just to get it in more people's hands. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Others, including some other analysts, are expecting that this means it'll likely be at least $499 US dollars, aka $500. Microsoft, on the other hand, has been talking a big game. They've got this powerful machine that they've been talking about how great it is. It's got this custom cooling situation, tightly built from the ground up. Some people are taking all of this talk of power, resolution, and frame rate to mean that they might be priced higher. The other thing to consider, Microsoft is suggested and rumored to be working on a diskless version of their consoles for some time, and PlayStation 5 is confirmed now after that announcement as having two different versions, one with a disk drive and one without. This likely means one with a disk drive will cost more and the one without it will cost less. Now, my personal take, I think both of these things are gonna cost a pretty penny. You know, when I hear $400, $450, I don't know. I'd say definitely at least $500, but I'm preparing for a bit more. Like it or not, you know, it definitely hurts. I think by having two different options, that will allow these companies to only talk about the price and make it sound great. They'll talk about the lower price more often. I also think that having a lesser option might reduce some of the sticker shock or surprise of the high price tag when people are looking at it on a store shelf. High frame rates and high resolution and all that stuff doesn't come cheap, especially when these consoles are releasing closer to the cutting edge than at least ever before. Sometimes when a console releases, it's often super behind in terms of the yearly updating technology and chipsets and graphics. This time around, they've both worked hard to make sure that that's a bit more reduced. Still, not to be an annoying PC guy, but it's likely that a nice PC will kick these things in the pants still. But if you're a console fan, I'd say, of course, be prepared to spend some cash. Chances are, many of you, like I said, have done this before. You know what you're in for. Early adopters empty their wallets. The patient person who can wait will end up saving a bit more money, and then just a bunch more games to catch up on. It's up to you, of course, whether you even buy one or not, but that's where we're at. Just a wee bit of speculation to start your day. And honestly, we are doing this for the comments. Like, place your bets. What do you think these things are going to cost? What do you think the Series X is going to cost? What do you think the PlayStation 5 is going to cost? Of course, maybe differentiate between the two different versions. Are you thinking $400? Are you thinking $700? Any insight, any perspective on it, let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and had fun speculating with us, clicking the like button is the best way you can help us out. And if you're new, consider subscribing because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.